What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And guys, for today's video I have a really amazing news. First of all, I will show you the story of one of our community members, and it is a really impressive story, I would say. Then I will continue with the most recent updates in regards to the so-called snowball effect that is ramping up through the people's accounts who are trying to help us to help MMTLP community. On top of that, and it is a real bombshell, that we have new FOIA requests and FOIA answers, and these letters are very interesting, and well, to be honest, these letters raises even more questions to authorities and to Gary Gensler in particular. On top of that, I will show you an update in 1209 cases, and we have a huge news in this field as well. So, and before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. On top of that, if you want to know more about technical analysis, if you want to enhance your trading skills, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and to join my Patreon account. And guys, to be honest, within next couple of weeks I will remove a couple of tiers, low-cost tiers. I will add much more perks, much more benefits for the Safe Haven tier and for the Gold tier as well. And it is pretty much your last chance to join my Patreon with just $1 a day. And take a look, let me show you the sneak peek of my recent calls. Just yesterday, as you can see, I made this call on Netflix when the price of this asset was $1.227. It was at 1 a.m. and I told to my patrons that it is a new opportunity to short Netflix. Then, guys, I covered this price action in a live pretty much basis, and right here I identified 3 price targets for Netflix. And we hit all of them. On top of that, I told to my patrons that they can put their stop-loss orders in green and try to ride the trend, because we can hit much lower price targets. And guys, less than 24 hours before this call, I made another call, and it was a call on GME. Take a look right here. Wait a second, I will show you first of all the exact call. It was made on June the 10th. And it was a short put butterfly. You can see that within just several days it became profitable, and it was about 10% profit on the initial investment. This means, guys, 2 out of 2 successful calls within just a couple of days, and that is why you can rely on my technical analysis and you can join my Patreon for the low prices, at least for now. So, and let's begin today's video with this article. It was published on MMTLP Resources, and it's titled "How to Lose $175,000 in 16 Days with FINRA." And this is the story that was published by Crucial Mix, and it is his own story. He wrote, "For years we've discussed the FINRA U3 halt and how it froze MMTLP out of their investment in December 2022. But I've never stopped to put a dollar figure to that loss. I thought it was important to take a look at the figures based on my holdings of then MMTLP in both an IRA and securities account." And he added the link to his Twitter with this data. "At MMTLP's all-time high on November 22nd, 2022, my position was worth over $175,000. Just 16 days later, that value dropped to zero without warning. Period. Full stop. No matter how complicated the MMTLP story is, that fact is indisputable. For those new to the situation, MMTLP was originally scheduled to stop trading on December the 12th of 2022. Instead, it was abruptly halted under U3 designation on December the 9th, with no trades allowed after December the 8th. That's over $11,000 a day I lost over those 16 days. Was I going to sell it all? Probably not. Was I going to sell some of it? Yes. Christmas was coming, and I and 65,000 other investors were denied our right to sell without notice or warning. Of course, this amount pales in comparison to the amount of money I technically lost when my E-Trade orders came up as too late to cancel, with some as high as $2,150 a share. And he added the link of his own E-Trade account with this data of too late to cancel orders. So, these orders apparently were executed and were reversed. And he also added the so-called footnote, what does too late to cancel mean? And it says it's clearly stated that the request to cancel is received and the order is no longer available to be cancelled. The order has already been executed or is in the process of executing. He added, it's criminal. And yes, guys, it is just a tiny story, but it is a really heartbreaking story because a lot of community members lost substantial amounts of money. And I would say, well, for some people, definitely 175,000 is not a big deal. But believe me, the majority of people will never see this type of amounts on their savings accounts. And unfortunately, it is just nature of life. So, let me show you more positive news. Dennis Neal published this tweet just several hours ago. He wrote, breaking, new press release on John Burda of MMTLP in exclusive interview on What's Bugging Me podcast on Ricochet. And he added the link to the PR statement that was written by his company, by his firm. And well, on the one hand, it is not so important because it is just an informational, it was made for informational purposes. But on the other hand, guys, Dennis Neal is quite, I would say, famous person, and he hosts a podcast for thousands, tens of thousands of listeners. And because of this, he grabs a lot of attention of the people who might, who potentially have some chances to help us and who want potentially to help us in our problem. That is why, guys, it is very important to see this type of mentions of MMTLP case in different type of social medias. On top of that, I want to give a huge shout out to Rob Carter, because in his real talk he also mentioned about MMTLP case again. And let me quote you this. 13 hours ago, Squatch wrote, excellent question from Rob Carter on Real Talk this morning. Is our government actually working for us? It sure doesn't appear so. After MMTLP community has made Representative Ann Wagner well aware of massive financial fraud against investors in Missouri. Why does she ignore us? So guys, definitely these type of questions, well, they are on the one hand, they are not helping us at all. But on the other hand, these questions are very important because through these questions we can attract even more attention to the actions of authorities and to the actions of legislative branch in US government. And in this case, guys, potentially we might see, and these changes might not be the quickest one, but we might see the changes, major changes in the US stock market that will lead to a fair and transparent market in general. And this is a very important step towards the resolution of MMTLP case. So, and let me show you the most important part of today's video. It is this tweet that was written by Due Diligence and that was reposted by John Burda. Due Diligence wrote, MMTLP, thanks to Wally, we just got our hands on some FOIA QFRs from Congress's prior questioning of Gensler in September 2023, and the evasiveness on display here is honestly stunning. A total of 10 questions related to MMTLP appeared in these two documents, links at the bottom. Let's walk through it. Senator Krapa asked Gensler if the SEC would release the audited share count and bullshit data to determine whether any fraud occurred. The response, Gensler says that NextBridge disclosed the share count, the legally issued amount, not the actual amount that brokers were obligated to deliver, and blue sheets are confidential. In other words, a total dodge. and he added the exact place in the document where he found this answer. Next one. Senator Rounds asked when the SEC last examined FINRA and whether there had been an exam since the MMTLP halt. The SEC didn't even respond, just a flat silence. The Senator Tillis stepped in. He asked who applied to FINRA to trade MMTLP on the OTC in the first place. No answer, none. Gensler wouldn't say who filed the application that started this whole mess. In fact, there is a section for the response, and it's just blank, not redacted, blank. Tills also asked whether FINRA consulted with the SEC or anyone else before the halt. Gensler responded, "Ask FINRA." Seriously, the SEC oversees FINRA but says go ask them. Then Tillis raised the December 5th, 2022 email from Sam Dreddy at FINRA, where blue sheets was supposedly pulled. He asked which broker-dealers responded and what the results showed. Again, the answer was ask FINRA. That's three big questions in a row, all deflected. Then we get to the House side. Representative Laudermilk told Gensler his previous answers were dismissive and asked whether the SEC would work with Congress if deeper policy issues were uncovered. Gensler didn't respond to that either. Then comes my personal favorite, Representative Mooney's question. Why? Because they actually came from me, passed to him via my personal favorite advocate in all of this, the rockstar state senator from West Virginia, none other than Chris Rose. Mooney asked why after more than 10 months there's been no action, no resolution, no transparency. Gensler answered with more of CEO buzzwords and no comment, no timeline, no accountability. Mooney also asked for share count. Gensler replied, ask FINRA. Then, in my favorite, except in all of this evasive mess, Mooney asked about NextBridge reaching out to facilitate a temporary trading window to fix this, something both DTCC and OTC markets reportedly agreed to help with. Let's quote it. Here is the direct speech. 103. Recently, it became known that NextBridge Hydrocarbons reached out to FINRA, OTC markets, and the DTCC to facilitate a temporary trading period for the purposes of reconciling the share count and resolving this situation. It is our understanding that in an unprecedented move, DTCC and OTC markets were willing to assist in facilitating this temporary trading period, but FINRA stated that this would fall under the jurisdiction of the SEC. A. What steps can the SEC take to assist the concerned parties in facilitating this temporary trading period so that our suffering constituents can finally have a resolution to this situation? B. If NextBridge communicates this interest to the SEC, will the SEC assist them in the process? C. As of today, can you provide a specific timeline for when the SEC plans to resolve the MMTLP situation and provide closure for the affected investors? Boom! A hard-hitting, straightforward set of questions asked in the perfect way, if I do say so myself. The SEC's response, a link to FINRA's public FAQ page, like that's supposed to resolve anything or addresses any of this stuff. Mooney literally says that FINRA is pointing at the SEC for answers, but Gensler points his finger back at FINRA and says, check the FAQ. Huh? Someone call up that Spider-Man pointing to each other meme FFS. There aren't complicated questions. These were Congress asking for basic facts. Who filed what, when and why, whether rules were followed, what the data says, whether regulators are doing their jobs. And over again we get shrugs, recycled links and a giant game of hot potato between the SEC and FINRA. Let me make this simple. If Gensler and the SEC wanted transparency, they could have given it. They didn't. To me, that says a lot. This is why we keep pushing. This is why Congress must keep asking, and this is why the share count, the audit and the accountability we've been demanding since day one still matter. They want this to disappear, but we are not letting it. Stay tuned. and he added these documents to PDF files. And guys, this information is very interesting because these questions were asked before the Gary Gensler's testimonial, and before he was questioned by one of the Congress members. And I have to admit that very interesting comment I found under this thread. Big wrote, "Someone like Scott wrote who has an active case against the SEC and FINRA should use this information." And I totally agree with this statement. And for now, guys, we have some updates in our 1209 cases. But first of all, I want to pay attention to some interactions inside the MMTLP community in which Jung Se and Scott Roth were involved. So, just several days ago, Jung Se wrote this. FINRA lied, I am shocked. And she refers to the tweet that was written by Christian Shaughnessy. And Christian Shaughnessy refers to the Dennis Neal podcast, where John Burda clearly stated that it was Anson Fund who contacted Greg McCabe back in the days, and they asked him to issue 10 million shares to cover their short position. And Jung Se wrote that FINRA lied. Because they mentioned just 2.65 million shares shorted. And guys, yesterday I explained to you why it could not be the real case. Because Anson Funds is a Canadian company, and in this case, FINRA don't have any tools to see the position, short position of the companies that were made abroad or transferred abroad. So, and in response to this tweet, Scott Roth wrote, "And I asked your boss, McCabe, for this number last October, and you and your clown car friends attacked me as it was none of my business to ask for that number from McCabe. And McCabe sent that email calling me names such as low integrity, etc., and compromised and a dark force for wanting this special information, and that he needed to serve the needs of all the shareholders. And now Burda burns him with the answer number because criminal charges are coming against Burda, McCabe, and others. Social media space hosts apparently too, from the scope of the subpoenas that are going out. And lo and behold, you give McCabe a pass event through its release back then, when I asked for it politely on October the 10th of 2024, would have helped all the court cases against FINRA, GTS, Schwab, and the SEC. And guys, it is it is difficult to argue with this statement. This information would definitely help him and other 1209 community members to push their cases dramatically forward. So, but you give him a pass. You are such a disgrace and a con artist, as is your pal, the soon-to-be the licensed Matt Alberts, under an NDA from McCabe, but never telling anyone his main mission is to protect McCabe, yada yada yada. You are part of the problem, Shield Queen, if not part of the true cover-up triumvirate. Lawyer up, lady. If your other pal Wes Christian isn't too busy getting disbarred for what he did in US bankruptcy court in Nevada on April 16th, 2025, and again on April 23rd of 2025, you might be able to retain him. Try selling a new narrative, really. And guys, let me show you an update from Scott again. He wrote in response to his own tweet the following. Wait a second. So he added, she's been covering for McCabe this whole time and Wes Christian too. He's always coming to save the day but never does. What I asked from McCabe was simple. Who wanted to buy, at how much and how many? McCabe then went full asshole, attacked me, used his fruity proxy Jen Capella to defame me. And guys, definitely this information is extremely helpful in all of our cases, but for some reasons Greg McCabe didn't want to disclose this information. And again, for some reason John Burda disclosed this information just 2 days ago, and it is very interesting to see how this will help us and when we will see the first results. But for now, let's switch to the 1209 cases, and we have an updates in Matthew Peace versus Securities and Exchange Commission and Daniel Spears versus Securities and Exchange Commission. We have several dockets that were filed just yesterday. It is wait a second, I will show you more details. It is a motion for leave to file plaintiff's reply in support of motion for limited stay and response to SEC's oppositions by Matthew J. Peace. A reply to response to motion filed by Matthew J. Peace, 2 documents. A response to motion filed by Matthew J. Peace, a post-motion for confidential and protective order, stay and discovery filed by Defendant Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. Motion to dismiss second amended complaint by John Burda and Gregory McCabe, and motion to dismiss by NextBridge Hydrocarbons. And guys, for now all these documents are hidden behind the paywall, and we have pretty much the same set of documents in Spears versus Securities and Exchange Commission case. You can see it right here. Motion to dismiss by NextBridge Hydrocarbons and motion to dismiss by John Burda and Greg McCabe. And definitely this might be quite interesting documents, because it is a very important to know what will be the judge's decision in regards to these documents, because if these motions will be granted, these 2 cases will be pretty much terminated. And well, we have to know more. Definitely we have to know more from Greg McCabe, from John Burda and NextBridge Hydrocarbons. To be honest, I would say that it would be much easier for them to just say some additional information, like the share count, like the contacts of the, let's say, Anson Funds and other companies who contacted Greg McCabe back in the days and who asked him to issue more shares. But he didn't want to disclose it, and that is why, guys, we are trying to achieve this goal through the litigation processes. It is not the easiest procedure, but definitely it will help us to gain these results. So I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel with notification bell, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants